I've been meaning to read this book for a long time. In the end, I decided upon this version, the Tuttle bilingual version, the Chinese characters next to the English. I'm going to look into more detail into this book in a few more subsequent videos. This video is just a quick video to say what I enjoyed about this version. It has a good introduction at the beginning of Sun Tzu's life. There are some interesting anecdotes about him written by the grand historian Sima Qian. I'm going to make a short video on that just because I want to focus just on that anecdote to say what it shows about Sun Tzu. And this book really does a good job of introducing what we do know of Sun Tzu, what's being said about him before, some commentaries on him. I suppose highlights a path to learning more about this book. I really like the original Victorian translations that have been completed on works by Confucius and Lao Tzu and Sun Tzu. The one on the Analects, the Lun Yu, was done by one James Legge, and this one is done by one Lionel Giles, who worked in the British Museum for most of his life and became the keeper of Oriental printed books and manuscripts in 1936. These translations were Edwardian or Victorian, first real translations done on these classic texts. And the reason why I like them is because they have this antiquated language that perhaps people wouldn't use to translate things nowadays. I'll be showing examples in the next videos. So much has been written and said about it by so many different people over the years, and so many people have said it's a great text that some people can come to it with perhaps very high expectations and really not having those expectations met, because at the end of the day it's meant to be a text for practical use as a general. Much of the latter part of the Sun Tzu Bingfa, that's the art of war, is focused on that exactly, practical considerations in war. Whereas the earlier part of the text I find perhaps has more wider significance. I found in the first couple of chapters as compared to the last few, because I found those to be perhaps of more wider use. Perhaps they're more universal in their application. The later ones are focused more on moving armies, the practical aspects of that. I'm going to do some videos on what exactly I enjoyed about it and what Sun Tzu was like, phrases that I want to focus on. So Sun Tzu's The Art of War, with the Bilingual Edition, highly recommended to anyone who wants to know about classical Chinese literature and I suppose wants to see the Chinese for themselves. And for someone who knows a few characters, it's nice to see that what's been translated is accurate. I mean, I have had experiences in the past where I've seen translations and I've questioned them, and that's certainly not the case here. So, highly recommended to anyone interested in Chinese classical literature, Chinese classical civilization, and in fact, even wider, I would argue, especially the earlier chapters